Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, some big economic news and also news for America. There are multiple reports tonight that President Trump plans to name Kevin Warsh as the new chair of the Federal Reserve, probably one of the most important positions in America and in the world. President Trump apparently, when he was on the red carpet, I was watching this, he was on the red carpet for Melania's new documentary, her new film that came out about her life. She has an amazing life story, by the way. I haven't seen the film, but I really would love to see it soon. Well, President Trump was asked, hey, when are you going to announce a new Fed chair? And in typical Trump style, he answers the question. He said, tomorrow morning. And they go, whoa, what? We knew that it was going to be soon. But he breaks the news saying it will be tomorrow morning. And then in the last few hours, there are multiple reports that Kevin Warsh, who is a former Fed governor and also a Stanford University professor, received a call late today. And the president asked him if he would accept the position as the chairman of the Federal Reserve. And apparently he accepted the offer. He and Rick Reeder were sort of seen as sort of the top candidates. Reeder is a top executive at a giant money manager, BlackRock, a big name company, as many of you know. But he was apparently informed a few hours ago that he would not get the appointment. And yet the call went to Kevin Warsh, who most people thought probably would end in this position. Kevin Hassett, who I met when I was at the White House, very smart man, very, sharp on economics and so forth. President Trump in recent days, and many people also saying this in recent days, that Kevin Hassett was so good at his job as the National Economic Advisor for the president, obviously another enormously important job, that he was too good, that he couldn't be moved over to something else, that he needed to stay there, especially look at this election year where affordability, immigration, a number of things are on the table. So big news again. Kevin Warsh, according to multiple reports, is expected to be named officially in the morning as the next Federal Reserve Chairman. Kevin Warsh, who is a well-known former governor of the Federal Reserve and also a Stanford University professor, very well respected in economic circles. And this will be a biggie and determine interest rates and so many things. Of course, this chairman, the current one, Jerome Powell, hasn't been dropping the interest rates. President Trump says that is not a good thing. And you could bet that he probably is more in line with Kevin Warsh's policies than with Jerome Powell. So big news. We're going to talk, I'm sure, a lot about that tomorrow. Meantime, President Trump holds his first cabinet meeting of 2026. This is his 10th one. I can't even remember when Joe Biden did like 5 minutes at one, but President Trump today did another one. This was an hour. The last one, remember, was 3 hours. So President Trump joked today and said, we're not going to do another 3-hour one. That last one was boring. So we're going to just trim it down. He only let a few people speak, and it was pretty much moving along, but it was still much more comprehensive than I've ever seen from President Joe Biden and many others too, for that matter. But here is President Trump, and he was able to say, listen, this year, there are good things to start. He started talking about immigration. And he also talked about how crime, murder, is at an all-time low. The amounts of murder, the records, is at an all-time low since they've been keeping records the last 125 years. And then he also talked about some extraordinary numbers about illegal immigration. This is incredible. Think about what a difference a presidency makes. The minute President Trump comes in, the border's sealed, and they are cracking down. So listen to what President Trump said when he started off his big meeting today.
Had an amazing year, and this will be our first cabinet after the year, so we're starting our second year. Tremendous progress has been made. I want to thank my entire cabinet for 12 months of unprecedented achievements. We really have. I mean, it's unprecedented. The numbers we've had on the economy and growth, you see them, and that's despite a Democrat shutdown. Without the shutdown, we would have picked up about 1.5 points more than already high numbers, record-setting numbers. So this has been, I think, and a lot of people say it, the most successful year of any administration in American history. First year, there's never been a first year like this, including the fact that we extinguished 8 wars, and another one we think is coming. Steve Witkoff's working very hard, and Jared and everybody else, and I think it's coming. It was just announced that the murder rate in our country is the biggest drop ever recorded. It's at the lowest level in 125 years. First in recorded history, it's the lowest in at least 125 years. It's a wonderful thing. And that crime is way down, and one of the reasons was we've taken a lot of bad people and gotten them out of our country. In some cases, they're so bad that we put them in prison because we don't want them to even take a chance of coming back in, even though our border is very secure, record-setting secure. We had 0 illegal aliens being admitted into our country for the last 8 months. That's hard for even me to believe, but the people that make up the lists are supposedly nonpartisan, but I would say they lean toward the Democrat side. And if they say that, I'm all for it.
You know, it's incredible that you hear those numbers. Murder at an all-time low, not a single illegal alien released into this country in 8 months. I mean, think about how many every single day, every single hour under President Joe Biden. There is a lot to tout. And yet, no matter what, they go over, they bring the olive branch, they go to Minnesota, they say, okay, we're going to make some changes, we're going to help, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I don't know if some of these people can ever be appeased. I'm just telling you, why appease them? If they are breaking the law, you need to throw the hammer down. Listen to Jacob Fry. This is, of course, the mayor of Minneapolis. And this was today. This is after Tom Homan comes. This is after he says we're going to try to do some changes. This is after he says, you know, we certainly don't want anybody to die. And yet nothing's ever good for people like Jacob Fry. Listen to him, the mayor of Minneapolis.
You know, never in a million years did I think that we would be in this place where troops and federal agents by the thousands have been deployed on a great American city, where the Department of Justice is used as a weapon to silence dissent, where the very foundational principles of our democracy and of our republic are questioned.
I mean, this guy still is saying ICE is the boogeyman. So I don't know. I almost think it's time to get hardcore. I think they need to look also and see where Jacob Fry, was he involved with any of these signal chats? Was he aware of any of these protests? I think his words are insightful. We have to respect law and order. And people like Jacob Fry, I don't know if he's ever going to bend. He is so caught up in his political rhetoric, and it doesn't even matter the cost. And here he is a little bit more saying what he thinks ICE is doing. He calls them obviously racist. Listen to this.
People have been indiscriminately pulled off the street. Discrimination takes place only on the basis of are you Somali, are you Latino, or are you Southeast Asian? And then American citizens have been yanked away from their homes after that solely because they look like they are from Mexico or Ecuador or Somalia. That's not how we operate in America.
That is such a ridiculous, preposterous comment and reckless comment to say because someone's from Somalia, that's why they're being arrested. What about the $9 million fraud scam? How about that one, Jacob Fry? I haven't heard him condemn that. He seems to be so caught up in condemning what I would say is ICE, condemning CBP, praising Alex Preddy. And the best he can do is, they're targeting, they're racist, they're this, they're that. This is so dangerous. And it makes you wonder, what is he saying behind closed doors? That's what I'm always wondered. Then you also see Tim Walz. Tim Walz is coming out and saying, Trump called me because poll numbers dropped. I would kick J.D. Vance's butt in a debate. That was the other line that he came out with. J.D. Vance kicked his butt in the debate. Remember that debate? I would say cleaned his clock. Waltz was like, it was like Muhammad Ali and a baby in that debate. And in fact, I think that helped President Trump tremendously because everyone was like, this guy's a heartbeat away from being vice president. No thanks. But this Jacob Fry and also, Tim Walz, they're not alone, guys. That's the thing. They are not alone. Listen to this guy, Philadelphia DA Larry Krasner. Take a listen to what he actually said.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice. And
that is shocking from a sitting district attorney. A sitting district attorney. It could not be more reckless and more provocative. How is that not inciting? We're going to hunt you down? 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Robert in Brooklyn. Go ahead, Robert. Your thoughts tonight.
Thanks for taking my call. Well, before you mentioned, he's not Mother Teresa. Before the January 13th video, I thought he was like Mother Teresa. Now I think he's a hybrid like Mother Teresa and like Patrick Henry. So wait, Robert. You can't still see even first of all, I didn't think he was Mother Teresa in the first one because he was screaming with the iPhone and shouting vile things. That's what we knew we saw at least on the 24th. Now on this video on the 13th, there's not even a shred of Mother Teresa in there. Where's the shred of Mother Teresa in there? And where's the Patrick Henry? Mother Teresa and Patrick Henry. Well, Patrick Henry, they fought against the British. They liberated this country. Wait.
That's where I thought you were going to go. Robert, you have got to be kidding me. So are you equating ICE to the British trying to conquer this country?
No. Look, I don't agree with. I support Trump in trying to get the invaders out of our country. However, that doesn't justify January 24th. Teddy, very good going, Teddy. You were correct. They're murderers. At least
they're
one of those agents
murderers.
Murdered him.
How do you know they're murderers?
Teddy was right.
How do you know they're murderers?
Teddy didn't get him.
Teddy was right when he said that I'm correct. But go ahead.
The vetting. Teddy talked about the lack of vetting. For all I know,
lack of vetting. That was Teddy pulling something out of thin air or somewhere else.
No, that's very good. Teddy's 100% right because the Trump administration has a problem vetting people. Many of the people they've taken, whether it's Barr or Sessions, they didn't do a good job vetting. As far as I know, the agent and the officer who caused the problem, who caused the death, the slaughter of the poor nurse, as far as I know, he could have been Antifa, could have been a Nazi. I don't trust their vetting.
Wait a minute, Robert, you have got to be kidding me. I'm going to hold you over because I am so riled up. I think the first 3 words out of your mouth got me riled up. All right, hold with me. We got to go to a heartbreak. We'll be back, Robert.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
Well, there's a lot of mean criminal migrants in this country. In fact, there are thousands upon thousands. There are supposed to be, I just saw this recently, 13,000 convicted murderers that are in this country illegally. 13,000 convicted, not questionable, not, they were convicted, went through the process, and they're here still illegally in this country. What are they doing here? How many of them are behind bars, and how many communities are willing to turn them over to ICE? I would say those people are probably some really bad folks. Let's go back to Robert, who isn't a bad folk. We love Robert. Go ahead, Robert. Line 2. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, one big difference between the NYPD and these law enforcers is that the NYPD carry tasers. And these guys out there, they don't have tasers because they're like a paramilitary group. They're not the proper people to deal with American citizens having their First Amendment rights and their Second Amendment rights. And let me tell you something.
So nice people like Alex Preddy, who maybe was a nice person to some people, but he sure wasn't nice to the ICE agents on January 13th. I mean, Robert, let me just ask you an honest question. Do you honestly, when you look at that video, that looks to me like an unhinged madman chasing after law enforcement? I actually thought the video couldn't be real. When I first saw it, Robert, I actually thought it was like it had to be doctored or something, or maybe it's not him. That couldn't be this guy who everyone's saying, oh, is this nice, sweet, wonderful man. And what he did for a profession was very noble. Maybe he was a very nice, wonderful person, but clearly he had some anger management problems. And obviously he didn't seem to care that he was attacking law enforcement. You don't spit at law enforcement and you don't kick out their taillights. And then he was fighting with them when they put him to the ground. So you don't know what really went on the 24th. And by the way, I don't know either. But you won't even give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt, and I will.
Well, Rita, you're not giving law enforcement the benefit of the doubt. Shame on you, because you're saying on January 13th, law enforcement, they should have arrested him. You disagree with law enforcement because they didn't arrest him. I
do. I actually have a lot of friends in law enforcement who think he should have been arrested then, because you know what? He was completely unhinged. But what it says to me is these people are trying to calm the flames. They're trying to let people know there's law and order. On the other hand, they're not rushing to go and arrest people or attack them like you make it sound like they are, Robert. If they did, they would have thrown the guy in the pokey and thrown away the key for what he did the other day. Though I'm talking about on the 13th. But it goes to the mindset. That guy on the 13th, we don't know all the details on the 24th. I'll give you that. But on the 13th, the guy was unhinged. You make it sound like he's a freedom fighter, Robert. You know better. That guy was an out-of-control maniac on the 13th.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Rita Cosby is on.
And more reports coming out about people saying, hey, are you DHS? Are you ICE? A report coming out that air marshals were harassed by a frenzied mob. That air marshals who were trying to do their job suddenly got swarmed by an angry mob. Can you imagine this? Anybody who looks like they're in a federal uniform, and believe me, you just heard what I said to Robert. I mean, going around saying that they're murdering people? Are you kidding me? That's insane. We need to appreciate our men and women in uniform. And these guys are out there, and women in ICE. And anybody that resembles a federal uniform is what, fair game for the angry mob to start screaming at them and surrounding them? That to me is really, really, really troubling. I want to play, this is cut number 1. And this is actor Ed Norton. You've seen him in so many great films. He's a tremendous actor. He did, I think, The Illusionist, if I remember that movie. I mean, he's been in so many movies. He's a great actor. But listen to what he had to say about ICE. He's now on this anti-ICE bandwagon.
These are not normal times, and and it's like we have extrajudicial like assaults on Americans and humans going on a daily basis now, and it's not okay. And even though all people kind of have to put one foot in front of the other and deal with the demands of the day, we cannot act like this is not happening. And I think I think what they're doing in Minnesota with the strike needs to expand. I think we should be talking about a national general economic strike until this is over and stopped.
And guess what? Tomorrow, they are calling for this national economic strike. A number of these celebrities are getting on board, putting it out there, saying anti-ICE, ICE no, and are calling for nationwide. Remember last week they had that big one that took place in Minneapolis, and there were 700 businesses that got involved. Schools. What kind of a message is that for school kids? That's a whole other issue. But yet they had these protests all over the place, and they're planning tomorrow to have another massive anti-ICE day across America. And these celebrities are getting on board. Celebrities like also Martin Sheen, who really also went after President Trump a little bit ago. He's a great actor, too. But listen to this comment.
So the big guy in the White House, if he would take some personal advice, you've got to realize, sir, that you are the biggest nothing in the world. and sir, you stop there. You stop listening to all these people around you, these sycophants, who are encouraging you to be your non-human self. Get in touch with that humanity. Stop fussing with your hair. And don't worry about your tie. And stand up straight and speak clearly, not from your throat. Speak from your heart. And start being human. That's what you were made for, not golf. So there you are, Mr. President. With all due respect, sir.
I don't really think that's funny. Stop being human. It's like the punchline. By the way, Stephen Colbert was asked, he made this comment. I don't know if you saw this. He's also thinking about running for higher office. He came out and he said, there's a commonality between ICE and also the Nazis. But then he said, but actually not, because the Nazis didn't wear masks, as if like they're better people than ICE. And this person wants to run for higher office, and he's an educated guy. Has he lost his marbles? Well, here is Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts, and listen to the comparison he made about the protesters, the beautiful, peaceful protesters there in Minneapolis.
So that's what we're going to be demanding. And if John Thune says no, then we're prepared to debate that until the cows come home, because we're at a critical point in the history of our nation. We are seeing something that is absolutely unprecedented. It actually goes back 250 years in Boston when the Minutemen and Minutewomen rose up in order to stand against King George and his arbitrary imposition of laws illegally upon American citizens. And this latter-day generation of patriots, they're rising up in Minneapolis, they're rising up across the country, and the Department of Homeland Security bill is the vehicle we need to use in order to have that debate.
That is just a shocking comment from a guy who's been in political office, educated man, comparing it to that period in history. You have got to be kidding me. But this clearly, it's not like, at first it was like one or two Democrats. Remember a couple months ago, you guys? And now it's like every single one of them is drinking the Kool-Aid. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Sandra in New Jersey on line one. Go ahead, Sandra. Your thoughts tonight.
Hi, Rita. I was going to talk about something else, but I just read this, and it's kind of funny, but Donald Trump is going to sue this woman, an illegal immigrant that lived in Virginia, for almost $1 million, all fines that added up, and he is going to they're going to revive a policy that makes all these people that refuse to leave after they were told to leave to have to pay a lot of money. I mean, I thought that was kind of interesting.
So wait, Trump is suing this woman. I haven't seen that. Tell me again, who is this woman? Where is she based? Where is she located?
Well, she's from Virginia.
Okay.
West Chesterfield County, Virginia, and she failed to leave the United States after many appeals. And all these, everything added up to $941, almost $1 million, $941,000. So a fine. So now Trump is instituting this law. It's going to be called Executive Order 14159. He did it actually in January. That says that if you don't leave, you're going to get fined.
I saw this. So is this the law that he instituted? A little bit ago, right? This is right. I saw that. Yes. Now I know what you're talking about. This is really interesting, Sandra. You're right, because they're trying to also spotlight the fact. Look how much money it costs the American public when these individuals don't leave. And especially if there are, judicial orders, like you said, multiple requests, it's cost us X, sending the bill to them or their families. Also, one of the things that I found interesting, and I don't know if there's been a revamp of it, but also that they might even go after their assets. Can you imagine? That would be, not just send them a bill, because you can kind of ignore a bill, not that you want to ignore a bill, but I'm just saying that they might ignore a bill that comes over and over again. But can you imagine if indeed it's something like, suddenly, we're going to seize this asset of yours because you owe us blank. I mean, that would be a wake up call. And especially if you go after the worst of the worst and you do that. I think that's a brilliant message if it's people who have clearly committed very serious crimes. What do you think?
I think so. Do you want to hear something good that he did? I don't know if I have time to say it.
By the way, I think the first one's pretty good, but go ahead.
Look, drug addiction is a very, very big problem.
Yes.
And, Donald Trump basically handled it inside and out. So on the inside, he went after the narcos, and he seized 469,000 pounds of cocaine, he did that, and then the narco, and he just did so much on the outside. But now he wants to help the people who are addicted to drugs and alcohol. So he put together this program called the Great American Recovery Initiative, and it's going to be run by RFK and Kathryn Burgum. Now, she is the wife of Doug Burgum.
I know Kathryn. It's actually Kathryn, and she's great. She's got an amazing personal story.
That's right. She had a little addiction to alcohol, and she's sober for 23 years.
Yep.
So they believe that, but first of all, they're all saying addiction is a disease, and it's something that has to be treated like any chronic medical condition. So they want to attack, they want to address this problem early rather than let it get worse and worse and worse. And they're going to really do something here. They're going to start, talking to programs like the government. They're going to spread it throughout the government, the community centers, the churches. They're going to spread the word all over to try to treat this very terrible problem and catch it early. And so what I'm trying to say is Donald Trump really gives a damn. He's doing it on the outside and on the inside. And people don't know. They think he's not doing anything, but he's doing very important things.
Oh, he definitely is. And by the way, as you're talking about this, Donald Trump does not drink. And his brother, remember, obviously had a drinking issue big time. And he's talked about that. So it's something that's obviously very near and dear to him, and obviously something genuinely where he really does want to make a difference. And Kathryn Burgum, I've met her a number of times. I love Kathryn. She's wonderful.
Oh, wow.
And she actually, her story is remarkable. She said she's a really amazing woman. Of course, was the first lady of North Dakota because he was the governor there. Her husband, who's now the Interior Secretary. But she's an amazing story. And I was so happy. I had tears in my eyes watching her today at the White House talking about it and sharing just her journey and being a part of it. So I'm so glad that you spotlighted it, Sandra. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Sandra. You're terrific. Let's go to Jackie in Paramus, New Jersey. Line 3, Jackie.
Hi, good evening. I was just saying that I think the legal immigrants should be getting a lot more attention. I mean, these are people that spent a lot of time and money coming here, and all we hear about are the people that cut the line.
By the way, I agree. I think that there are so many, great folks. And by the way, I think the legal immigrants, the ones who come here who, like you said, sometimes it takes years to become a citizen. They do it right. They do all the steps. They are so patriotic. Like they don't like the ones who cut the lines, Jackie. Isn't that interesting? They're the ones who, many of them are the most critical and concerned about these other people that are cutting the line because they're saying, hey, we didn't do it. Our friends didn't do it. Why are you allowed to do it?
Yeah. I just think we should talk more about them because they are the American story.
Yep.
Not people that sort of sneak over the line.
No, 100%. And Jackie, you may know this, but I'm a first-generation American. My father's Polish, my mother's Danish, and they literally came through New York Harbor with $100. So to me, I think it is, the best of America and what makes America great, that we truly are the melting pot and that people like my parents and so many others, and I'm sure many of you who are listening and your families too, America represents hope and represents freedom. And I think those immigrants who came from very difficult places, like my father came, from war-torn Poland, especially, he was so emotional. He told me when he came through New York Harbor. And I'm so glad that you're talking about it. That's a very important point. Let's go to Mike in the Bronx on line 5. Go ahead, Mike. Your thoughts tonight on the Rita Cosby Show.
Yeah, Rita, always on point as usual.
Thank you, Mike.
Mother Teresa. Yeah, now I've heard it all. Oh
yeah, how about the one guy who said he's part Robert said part Mother Teresa, part Patrick Henry.
I know.
I was like, what are you? I was about to tell Robert to get off the heroin,
Yeah, I was hoping you would. But,
I pretty much did.
That,
I just didn't tell him that, but I told him everything else.
I know you did. But, it's amazing. They call these poor guys murderers. I mean, maybe the second shooting wasn't justified, but these guys probably get about 3 hours sleep a night. They're totally harassed. Rocks thrown at them, ice thrown at them.
Yep.
And eventually something's going to happen. It's crazy. I mean, the same thing with your girl Whoopi, calling them murderers.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it, Mike.
Oh, my God. She's unbelievable. It's amazing how miserable those girls are, especially with names like Whoopi, Sonny, and Joy.
By the way, did you, Anna Navarro, who's also often on The View, did you hear the comment that she made? I played it at the top. Mike, I'll play it again just because in case you missed it. This is cut 25, and this is Anna Navarro. She was on CNN. She's a contributor on CNN as well, Mike, but she's often on The View. And this is how she described Alex Preddy. You thought that Mother Teresa and Patrick Henry was bad? Listen to this.
They chose to, they killed the wrong guy, right? Because this is like the perfect guy. Alex Preddy is the guy you would want to date your daughter. The guy you would want your son to grow up to be. A decent human being who was serving humanity, serving sick veterans, who is, there is nothing that has been said about that man that isn't wonderful. And so they can't malign him. They can't malign him because we have the videos.
And we have the videos, Mike. And Mike, can you imagine? I don't know if you're a father, but if your daughter said, here's a little video of the guy I want to date, I think you'd say, honey, I'm taking you on a 10-year vacation.
I know. I am a father. My daughters, thank God, are on the right like me.
Good.
And, my whole family was Scots, my father, grandfather, uncle.
Oh, beautiful, Mike. Mike, well, I want to say, first of all, thank you for your service, Mike. Thank you for your family's service. And thank you for doing all you can to protect America. every single day, because I do believe law enforcement by far is the best among us. And they go out, try to make a difference every day, and we got to back them too. Thank you very, very much, Mike. We appreciate it. Boy, Mother Teresa and Patrick Henry. We're going to continue your calls after the break, but first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with the powerful story from Florida, where in 2019, a first of its kind, get this, underwater memorial officially opened honoring U.S. military veterans. Now, years later, there's an organization that's coming in to help preserve it. It's called the Circle of Heroes at Veterans Reef Foundation. It's a one-of-a-kind organization that is helping this great memorial, which is a tribute to veterans. And it's interesting. The memorial is located 10 miles off the Pinellas County coast at the Veterans Reef. And currently, there are 13 life-size statues representing the 5 branches of the U.S. military, which is incredible. The statues are arranged in a 100-foot circle and are 40 feet below the water's surface. What a beautiful way to honor our military and do it in a creative way. I love that. In the ocean floor and also elsewhere. And everybody, all it takes is just $11 a month to make an incredible difference. Donate $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They are the best of the best, and they help America's heroes and their families. Be sure to check them out. It's easy to do. Just go online and go to T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And by the way, I don't know if you heard this, guys, but Luigi Mangione had a visitor today. A guy who posed as an FBI agent showed up, said that he was releasing him, that he had a court order to release him. It ended up obviously being a loony guy. There was no evidence that Mangione was working with this guy. Sounds like the guy was like some crazy fan. And he ended up having a pizza cutter and a fork with him. I guess that's the way he was going to help him break out of prison. Luckily, they figured it out. And of course, Luigi Mangione is still behind bars at the federal prison in Brooklyn. By the way, it's the same prison as Maduro, remember? Let's go to Dom in Minnesota, since we're talking a lot about Minnesota on line 3. Dom, what are your thoughts tonight? Because tomorrow is supposed to be this big walkout against ICE.
Yeah, you know what, Rita? France, Germany, and Belgium are so screwed up culturally and economically because of uncontrolled immigration without any chance of assimilation.
Yeah.
And listen to Ed Markey when he said, Minutemen and Minutewomen trying to be politically correct because there were no Minutewomen there. There was only men back then.
Yeah, he should have said they, them, he, she, Minutemen. He should have used every pronoun. You're right. I mean, that's a great point. Dom, this is lunacy. And I just want to say, Dom, because you're there in freezing cold Minnesota, I hope things don't get too hot tomorrow, because these protesters apparently are planning some big day, some big walkout. I hope it doesn't happen, and I certainly hope if it does, it's peaceful. Thanks, Dom.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to The Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.